warm welcome to TV Africa News and thank you for always joining us. This is Africa Today. My name is Najuma Luima, but first are the headlines. Nagirinya murder suspects have a case to answer, says court. Death toll from the floods in eastern DRC reaches nearly 400. Table tennis Uganda club scoop medals in Africa Championship. Welcome once again. Now the news in detail. The High Court in Kampala has ruled that 5 suspects in the kidnap and gruesome murder of social worker Maria Nagirinya and his driver Ronald Chitaimbwa have a case to answer and should be put on trial to defend themselves against the charges. We have more. Justice Isaac Mwata on Monday said, basing on the evidence from prosecution witnesses, a strong ground had been established to warrant the 5 to make their defense. The accused include Kopriam Kasolo, Johnson Lubega, Nasif Kaliango, Hassan Chiseka, Sharif Mpanga. They face 6 counts of murder, kidnap and aggravated robbery after kidnapping Maria Nagirinya and her driver, Ronald Chitaimbwa, in 2019 from her gate in Lunguja, killed them and later dumped their bodies in Nachitutuli swamp along the Mukono-Kayunga road. On Monday, Justice Mwata ruled that evidence by the prosecution links all the 5 accused persons to the murder, which requires the defense. He said phone data analysis evidence as well as other forms of evidence by the state clearly place all the 5 on the crime scene at Lunguja and then Nachituturi swamp in Mukono district. The judge threw out Kasolo's claims that he had been tortured by security to force him confess to the murder. He adjourned the case to May 16th for the accused to start defending themselves. Medical officers, special grade 1 who are gynecologists, surgeons, pediatricians and emergency physicians will go on strike today starting 11 p.m. after the government failed to respond to their demands for a salary increment. Nalugo reports.
The specialists want an increment from 6 million to 11 million per month. They argue that their pay is insufficient considering the level of expertise and responsibility required in their positions and the workload given their limited numbers in the health facilities. They also want the government to stop confusing them for law cadres and want their title changed to associate consultants. This strike comes at a time when senior house officers are on strike and the government has not deployed intern doctors in public health facilities.
Authorities in the DRC announced on Sunday that the death toll from the floods that affected the east of the country has reached nearly 400. Let's take a look.
Heavy rainfall in the Calais region of South Kivu province last Thursday caused rivers to overflow, which in turn caused landslides that engulfed several villages. The Kane Vikanava survivor, he lost 8 members of his family, including his father, mother and all little siblings. Another survivor, Alpha Safari, narrated that he lost 12 members of his family, buried 5 bodies so far, and 7 others cannot be found. The authorities announced a day of national mourning on Monday, with flags lowered at half-mast in memory of the lost compatriots, according to the government. The floods in eastern DRC came 2 days after heavy rains killed at least 131 people and destroyed thousands of homes in neighboring Rwanda, which lies on the other side of Lake Kivu.
Let's go for a short break. We shall be right back. An estimated 60,000-strong crowd attended the first South Africa Air Force Museum show at Zwartkops after COVID-19 lockdown at the weekend. The extravaganza on Saturday, themed Breaking New Frontiers, saw more numbers than anything seen since the 2006 inception. It saw families and individuals, professionals, and even neighbors from the community show their interest in aviation and turn out to watch in earnest as aircraft of various shapes and sizes showed both engineering strength, combat readiness, and theatrics in the sky to match cheer and admiration from the audience. To support the sentiments shared by an excited chief of the Air Force, Lieutenant General Wiseman Mbabo, it was all worth it. From among the people who attended was no less amazement at both the strength of aircraft and the speed with which they flew across the skies. And when it was all said and done, officials and revelers alike agreed that bringing air excellence and the opportunity to get out and socialize was the best combination. Away from that, in Burkina Faso, thousands of demonstrators gathered on Saturday in several large cities to support Captain Ibrahim Traoré and denounce the destabilization desires of the country.
In Ouagadougou, where the large market remained closed, demonstrators burned the French flag and that of the European Union in support of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, who came to power in a coup on September 30, 2022. On Thursday, during a televised interview, Captain Traoré denounced the actions of a coalition against Burkina Faso, claiming to have turned to strategic allies such as Russia and Turkey. The country has witnessed two military coups and jihadist violence has spiraled and claimed more than 10,000 lives.
Senegalese opposition figure Ousmane Sonko said on Monday that he will refuse to cooperate with the judicial officials if they cannot guarantee his safety. The announcement comes on the eve of Sonko's appeal in a defamation case. Speaking in front of the press, Sonko appeared to refer to claims of an assassination attempt by the police back in March during his forced transfer to the Dakar court during initial defamation proceedings. The Senegalese political opponent announced that this was no longer justice but rather judicial banditry, which is the reason he said was behind his civic disobedience in collaborating with that justice. Sonko told the judges that they hid behind their robes and behind a false interpretation of the law and attack a man who has done nothing to them. Ousmane Sonko, who came third in the 2019 presidential elections, claims he is the victim of a plot by President Macky Sall to stop him from running in the 2024 elections. Let's once again take a quick break. We shall be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching TV Africa News, The Right to Know. In our business news today, the Central Bank of Zimbabwe introduced this Monday a digital token backed by gold as legal tender. The aim is to help stabilize the Zimbabwean dollar and protect citizens from currency fluctuations.
The gold-banked digital tokens will be a form of electronic money banked by Zimbabwe's gold reserves held by the central bank. The bank's intention is to allow Zimbabwean dollar holders to exchange their currency for the gold bank tokens, offering protection against the volatility of the local currency. Over the past years, the value of the Zimbabwean dollar has declined significantly, with $1 now worth approximately 1,000 Zimbabwean dollars compared to 150 Zimbabwean dollars as a year ago. Zimbabwe currently operates with the Zimbabwean dollar and the US dollar. Zimbabwe has been drowning in double and sometimes triple-digit inflation for over a decade. President Emmerson Mnangagwa promised to turn his country into a middle-income economy by 2030. But since taking office, he has been unable to restore confidence in the local currency.
In our health news today, since the outbreak of the virus in the country in 2020, Uganda has reported 170,602 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and 3,632 deaths. The Health Ministry says it is still vaccinating people against COVID-19 and vaccines are available in different health facilities. The Department of Infectious Disease Control at the Health Ministry has said coronavirus is not driving the wave of cough and flu which is sweeping through the country. Dr. Patrick Tusime, the Commissioner for Communicable Diseases Prevention and Control at the Ministry, said other infectious agents could be driving the wave. Dr. Alan Muruta, the Commissioner for Public Health Emergencies at the Ministry, on the other hand, said it is the normal flu they have always had. Although both commissioners didn't give figures to support their position, Dr. Henry Chobe, an epidemiologist and the COVID-19 incident commander at the ministry, said they would inform the country about the COVID-19 situation anytime. This comes a day after some health experts had linked the wave of flu and cough to COVID-19 because some affected persons turned out positive when tested. In a number of cases, children have failed to respond to medication previously effective against the three diseases, and some have had to be admitted to hospital and placed on oxygen machines. Dr. Tusime, on the other hand, said the same prevention measures for COVID-19, such as wearing face masks and social distancing, are effective against the flu and cough. The World Health Organization, however, warned that many people with severe COVID-19 are still admitted to hospitals, and so countries should carry on with their internal mitigation measures against the disease. And finally, with our sports news today, Uganda Table Tennis Association President Robert Jagwe commended the teams for their achievement in tournaments that could earn them points for future competitions like the 2024 Africa Games and the Paris Olympics next year.
After braving 17 hours on the road, Uganda's table tennis contingent made their presence felt at the African Club Championship in Nairobi, Kenya. Chibuli Table Tennis Club scooped silver after surrendering to the mighty Petrojates of Egypt 3-0, but they were thumped their chest for such a run that superseded their target. 8-year-old Joseph Sebatindira was among the star attractions for his previous display against opponents some old enough to be his father. The Nakasero Primary School pupil was key as his club defeated City Eagles of Kenya 3-1, Commercial Bank of Ethiopia 3-2, and Vision of Rwanda 3-1 to lead the group. They defeated Nairobi City 3-0 in the semis before falling to Petrojates by the same margin in the final. Early on, the ladies and the Nakasero table tennis club scooped bronze, largely thanks to Pavin Nangonzi, the star performer in their 4 games. The girls lost to Commercial Bank of Ethiopia 3-0, finishing second in the group. Losing the semi-finals 3-0 to the mighty Petrojates of Egypt did not dampen their resolve.
That was the news. Thank you for always keeping it TV Africa. Please do stay tuned.